Welcome, everyone. I hope that everyone is doing very well during this very troubling time with all the scary, virus stuff going around, and that we're all staying inside and, washing our hands. And I know that it may have gotten us a little on edge. So I'm hoping that today we can just relax a little bit and try to draw something that makes us smile a bit. So right now we're going to go ahead and draw ourselves a lovely little landscape. I'm going to do some mountains, a lake, and we're going to, just see where it takes us. And remember, there are no mistakes. And, anything that you see, in your image that doesn't make you smile, well, just think. It's just the next step till you make something that really makes you smile. But it's all part of the process. So today, right now, let's go ahead and get started. I always like to just kind of get a general sense of where the horizon is. So I'm just going to draw, a nice little kind of horizon right there on the screen. Yes. Just kind of relaxed and beautiful. This might be like the outside of the lake, so we can draw ourselves little waves here and there. A little bit closer to camera. They'll be a bit bigger, and as we go a little bit farther out, nice and small. Perfect. Very good. I always enjoy just serene mountain vistas. And, a part of it's just because I've grown up here. Now we drew on our first little peak, and we got to make sure that we show that there's a little bit of snow on top. There we go. Good. Beautiful. And we're going to draw another little peak over here. This one's going to be a little bit more of a flat, and then just maybe a small little peak right there. Good. Give that one a little bit of a, snow cap. And then this one right here. And, we're going to make this rhino peak because it kind of looks like a rhino nose. So we're going to give it a little rhino eye cave. And then, make another kind of like series of boulders right here. Just to kind of give them a little bit of teeth. And it's not actually a rhino, but, it's gonna give you just a little bit of connectivity to the area that's surrounding you. And there, beautiful rhino peak. Beautiful. All right, and we're going to give it a little bit of depth. So I'm going to draw, just a couple more triangles in the background. And we're going to, see now we're getting a little bit more of that kind of vista quality. Maybe draw like a little valley in the background. Yeah. There we go. Now we got a little bit more depth of field. And it's looking like a real wonderful little mountain town. Or not necessarily a town. We could make a town though. Just like draw a few little rectangles in the back. There we go. It's a very blocky town. They're very brutalistic. It doesn't need much, and that's okay. Whatever floats your boat. We'll draw little eyes right there for windows. Good. And that's our beautiful little hidden valley town. And I wonder if they make ranch dressing there. Who knows? But now we got ourselves a basic little outline of a town, and it's looking very nice. I like that. And the mountains are gorgeous all around us. And, we could use some trees. So let's go ahead and draw some trees. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Just little triangles. And, they don't seem like much on the surface, but when you get them all grouped together, they create the illusion of a forest of trees. And, it's as they say, don't, forget to see the forest through the trees. Actually, I think I got that backwards. Either way, we're just going to kind of do that. And we're going to make some really big trees in the foreground. And that'll give us the illusion that there's a forest right here. There we go. Maybe some on top. Now we're getting some real good, just general sense of where we are in relation to this picture. Yeah, now, wonderful. And there's going to be some areas that you'll just have to kind of, clean up a bit. That's okay. I'm going to clean up right around there. And then we clean up right around here. I'll probably go ahead and use the hard brush for the eraser. That way, it just gets rid of it right quick. Beautiful. And you may notice that I kind of messed up my little tree there, but that's okay. There's no such thing as a mistake, only happy little accidents. So this particular tree is going to have, a little ball on top of it. And it's there because somebody noticed that it makes this part look like a happy little doggo. See? It's just a little dog. And, he's such a good boy. He's a happy, borky boy. And, it's got the big old ears that come down there. It's got a bit of a pinhead. He got that at birth. It doesn't affect him at all, but it made him a little less desirable from other pups. So he was a little late to get picked up, but he did finally find a forever home, and it was absolutely perfect for him. And that's why he's such a good, happy, borky buddy. Sometimes he runs into stuff and, it feels like you get jabbed in the side, but that's just showing that he loves you. And he is definitely the bestest boy. I'm going to draw little lines around the bestest boy here because he is truly bestest boy. All right. Now we got ourselves a little general sense of a lake, the forest, mountain, valleys, a little town in the foreground. We need a little bit of sky up here. So let's go ahead and draw some clouds. Now, I like to make kind of poofy, little atypical normal clouds, but that, whatever type of cloud you like, that's okay with you. I like these little wispy ones as well. Chemtrails to basically give the town a little bit of a mind control vibe. There we go. Give a little clouds in the background. And maybe another big cloud up front. Good, beautiful. And one off to the side. I always like making stuff that kind of wanders off the edge of the map a bit. Because, even though we're trying to capture a single image, you always know that there's something beyond the veil of the borders of the edge. Life doesn't just begin and end at 1920 by 1080. So, just want to give you a sense of continuity. I find a lot of peace in that. Because when you have doubts in your life that this is all that's in front of you, you remember, maybe you should look to the sides. Maybe you should look around you a bit. See, maybe there isn't, such a closed caption to your life. It's actually a bit more open. You can go anywhere. And speaking of anywhere, let's draw a little hiking trail right here. We're going to do a little switchbacks. We're going to go all the way up to the top. There we go. Beautiful. And to show that we've finally made it to the top of the peak, we're going to draw a little flag. A little perspective on this may make it seem like, oh, that flag must be giant if it's here. And maybe it is. Maybe a whole troop of, a veteran association that's get together and climbs up this trail. They go up there every year. And one day they just decided to make their presence known by putting a flag on top of the mountain. And that just shows that, hey, we may be retired, but we're still active and we're still doing our thing. And so can you. I find that to be a very beautiful, beautiful message that they're purporting. And, I'm proud of them. God bless these fellows right here. They're just wonderful. Okay. And I was looking at our lake. And our lake is looking good. However, all lakes have like a bit of sand embankment or a rocky embankment. So let's go ahead and just generally give it a little bit of a sandy embankment. Looking a little rough, but that's okay. Sometimes they're rough. And it's in that ruggedness that's beautiful. And then we're just going to go all the way around. We're going to meet up with our bestest boy right here. Yes, he's still good, buddy. Yes, number one. I'm going to draw number one. Beautiful. And let's make sure that looks more like a hashtag. There we go. One. Good. Wonderful, wonderful. There we go. Yes, he is number one. So a little Smitty Werbin Yankerman Jensen here is just an absolute delight. Alright, and we're going to add a little kind of rocky detail. It doesn't need to be big. Just needs to be there to give you a sense that the terrain is a little bit rugged. And sometimes that is true for our lives as well. But it's those little rugged edges that kind of gives you a sense of depth and gratitude. There we go, making some rocks. Making some finer details. Beautiful. Now, we got ourselves a very grand little vista here, and I'm just absolutely enjoying it. So, I feel that now we can add like a little bit of color to give ourselves a sense of true wondrous beauty. Not that, the sketch here isn't wondrous beauty, but I've always been one to enjoy a little color in my life. Not everyone gets to have that sort of option, but that just means that I have to really enjoy what I have been given, and that is a sense of life through color. I'm going to go ahead, make another layer. We're going to kind of draw behind it. That way we don't mess up any of the artwork on the front here. Okay. And I'm just going to do some broad strokes. I don't care if it goes outside of lines. Some people will be meticulous about that. I'm not really. Because I know that over time, the lines will start to kind of just develop themselves, There we go. We got ourselves some greenery right here. It's looking absolutely beautiful. Alright. Got this little tree right here. This little tree right here. This little tree right here. And we're just going to go around. Now, one of the strange things, and I think one of the most beautiful things about our little Smitty Werbin Yankerman Jensen here, is that he was born naturally pink. A very unusual color. Some people always thought he was bald, but no, that's actually just pink fur that he's got. And he has himself, a bit of a reindeer nose. Been called Rudolph, by some people. But whereas Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, is a reindeer, our little guy is just a happy-go-lucky pup. And as such, he deserves a beautiful name himself, Smitty Werbin Yankerman Jensen. Okay, now we got Smitty colored here. Let's go ahead and give some Rocky Mountain Majesty. I'm going to go back here. Beautiful. Okay. Skin around the trees. Beautiful. Alright. There we go. Now it's starting to pop a little bit. We're giving ourselves a little bit of texture here, which is absolutely nice. Kind of lets it feel less flat. There we go. I'm going to avoid that little one right there for the moment because I feel that one is just above, just under the tree line. Okay. Good, good. All right. Can't forget these ones in the distance here. Wonderful, wonderful. The back. And then rhinoceros. Rhino Mountain, USA. There we go. The purple mountain rhino is amongst the rarest species of rhino in the world. Only a few are ever left in wilderness. And I think that's, something that we should pay attention. So much poaching and captivity and encroachments upon their native lands has lent to the purple rhino to not be as big in numbers as they used to be. So I call upon so many people to help the conservation cause, because in the last year their numbers have actually doubled from what they were before. I think that's very good. Okay, so I'm thinking we need to add a little bit more roughage right around here. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Kind of like a, not so much a silica-based sand deposit, but more of your natural granite colors. That leads to kind of a brownish hue overall. Good, good. I'm gonna just kind of dot the landscape a little bit with that brown, because then we're gonna go back to this nice greenish color. I'm gonna texture it in. Now it seems like there's more variety in the landscape. Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to have green rocks because our little rhino friend has been feeling a little bit under the weather. And he's got a little bit of phlegm. But that's okay because it's not contagious to humans, nor is it contagious to pets as well. So you don't have to worry about it infecting you. It only is going to affect him, but he's going to make a recovery. I can feel it. Alright, let's go ahead and give our sky a little bit of color. Beautiful. Now, we're going to start with the base, kind of sky blue. Might add a little bit more later, but for now, let's just go ahead. Make sure that it's all nice and covered. Accidentally got into the cloud there, but that's okay. Because we can always go back and fix our clouds. Even if we don't, that's alright. Because sometimes a cloud is very transparent. And not the traditional, just solid white that you might think that they are. They could be any sorts of colors. They could be sky blue. They could be purple. They could be orange. Given that they are typically made out of water droplets, they will refract any sort of light that's shown on them. So maybe those clouds are kind of a bluish hue. It's possible. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. Look at that. With the addition of some simple colors, we made this picture pop out even more so. It went from just a simple sketch to a beautiful, colorful, little cartoony image. Now, it's no secret that I'm more of a cartoonist than anything. Now I notice this town back here needs a little bit of definition as well. So let's go ahead and there we go. Good. Some silvery buildings sitting in the center there. Bustling life. We're gonna add some little lights to show that life is really bustling there. There we go. Wonderful. Looks like a beautiful little town. How lucky they are to live in such a gorgeous place. Let's go ahead and give our little veteran friends some color there. Wonderful. Now, they look more like trees, but that's okay. Maybe they're camouflaged. They are veterans after all, and some of them probably are very well versed in the arts of camouflage. So it would be very, very apropos. Now, let's go ahead and give ourselves some water. There we are. Beautiful. Just gonna go around the rim, nice and carefully. That way, we can be a little bit more relaxed when we get to the rest of the water. And our buddy Smitty over here is having the time of his life. Isn't that right, Smitty? Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to go around the trees. There we are. And what this is going to let us do is just be so relaxed. In fact, I'm going to increase the brush size a bit and just kind of just go all throughout the lake. And it's so easy. And because we're using this paintbrush, it's giving us a little bit of texture too. Now, isn't that lovely? All right. Now, I'm trying to think what we could do. I feel that the sky could use a little bit more color myself. It's a lovely summer day, seems kind of midday, but maybe we can make it a little bit more in the afternoon. Not quite golden hour, but maybe golden hour. We'll have to see. So let's go ahead. There we go. Give ourselves a little sun. We're going to hollow that out a little bit. There we go. There. Now we got ourselves kind of a bright sunshine. What I always like to do is just kind of layer more and more color just outside, because if you look at the sky at sunrise and sunset, it's almost like a giant rainbow. Now, I seem to have gotten in a little bit around the clouds and the sun. It doesn't look as well as I was hoping, but that's okay. Mistakes happen. Well, like I said, happy little accidents. So instead of wondering, oh geez, I messed up the image, let's see how we can make this work. I'm going to continue kind of just venturing out around the cloud. Now it's looking a little muddy, and we want to try to be a little bit more vibrant. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a G pen. There we are. And that's going to add a little bit more vibrance. Beautiful. Wonderful. Now, that's looking a little bit kind of blocky. So, we're going to add the next layer. It's going to seem a little bit intense, but as we go on, you'll see that it'll kind of meld a bit. Beautiful. And then over here. Good, good. Then we're going to give ourselves a little bit more purplish of a color as it kind of starts blending more and more into the back. All right. Arc a bit. There we go. And for the time being, the clouds will just have a nice little colorful hue to them. And then I want to go to more of your kind of twilighty colors. Beautiful. Now, if I just went straight purple all the way back, it would kind of look a little weird back here. So now, I'm going to just give it a little bit more of that dark night hue with an indigo. Now see, that looks very, very nice. I'm going to go back and give the sun a little bit more of definition. There we are. Good. Then give it a bit more of a white center. Wonderful. One thing I always like to do is just kind of blur the lines. And that gives it a gradient feel that is just so nice, so delectable. Not only that, it gives me a bit of an idea, because if you see these clouds here, the gradient has kind of warped into the whiteness of some of them, which gives them a texture. And with that texture, we could, in fact, make some really nice looking clouds. So, there we go. All right. This looks beautiful. Gives it a bit more of a punch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of loosening up those clouds a bit. Yes. Now you see, with the colors and the gradients, we're able to make something truly special here. Where before, it was more or less just kind of flat, oval, oblong shapes in the sky. Now we got ourselves some real clouds. Okay. Now on a sky like this, you're going to see a little bit more highlights on the mountains. Beautiful. Maybe a little bit on the building here. Mountains are not uniform all the way around, so we could have, some bulges that are a little asynchronous with the rest of the mountain. There we go. Good. Nice. Okay. I'm going to go into the forest and give these trees a little bit of a touch-up. With that, makes them feel more three-dimensional. Alright, and then we get back to Smitty over here, and he's got to have a little bit of a touch-up too. He's such a good boy, always number one in my heart. Okay, we're looking pretty good. Now, I believe another thing we can start doing is adding a bit of shadow. So, one thing I always like to do for shadow. Now, let me make sure that the rest of this is... There we go. There we go. Okay. Now our clouds are looking really nice. That bit of a touch-up. Cool. Alright. Like I said, what I always like to do about shadows is a lot of times people will try to go to straight black. And that's, to me, that's an alright move. But if you go to a color like purple, like a dark purple, you then get a little bit more of a relaxed color to it. It looks so much more appealing to me. But that is a personal choice. So if you want to do black or blue or red or green, that's okay. See how I'm just going to kind of dot around here, dot towards the base. Good. Even though purple doesn't exactly go with green that much on the wheel, if you're just using light shading, then you see it less of a clash and more just a way to give a little bit of dimension and a little bit of texture to your trees. Good. We're going to go back in with the later to just kind of make sure that it looks kind of clean. So if it doesn't look all that appealing to you at the moment, that's okay. We're not done yet. And I'm going to give our little Borky boy a little shadow too. There we go. You're a good boy, Schmitty. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Good. Okay, gave the trees a little bit of love, so we're feeling fine about that. Another thing to keep in mind is that the light is going to be kind of stopping at a certain point here. So, just gonna, not too heavily, but give a shadow. Ooh. Now, I may have gone a little bit overboard with that, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. There we go. Make it work. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go into these mounds here. Go into there. Good. Now it seems like I might be damaging some things, some work that we did earlier, but I'm not. With the context of the rest of the picture, we're going to see our mountains and previous details in a whole new context, whole new meaning. I'm going to leave the highlight around there. Good. Good. Okay. Add a little shadow to the buildings underneath those highlights. Some to the clouds. Good. Uh-huh. Okay. Now, we're going to go back through. We're going to just kind of blend it all in. As we blend, we see less of those harsh strokes. And we see more just the shadow of the objects themselves. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Hey there, buddy. Smitty, you are a good boy. And our purple rhino. Majestic and beautiful. And the lake. The shadow hidden. Wonderful. And see, now it's looking much more detailed, three-dimensional, and just overall a more complex and pleasing picture. Okay. I feel that we're getting a little bit close to the end of our time here. But there's still some more stuff that we can do to make this the best picture as we possibly can. One thing I'm going to go back and do is just kind of layer some darkness in the front there. hit some patches that were a little bit more neglected, but still very important. I'm going to make that sign, or the flag, a little bit of a different color. Make it stand out. And gently erase some of the color from the clouds so that they feel much more three-dimensional. Beautiful. And look how much that we got to today. In just a short amount of time, we went from just a humble little line art to something very grand and very pleasing to the eyes. And I find some of these little rough edges and work them out. Alright. And it seemed kind of strange, but I'm gonna make a few more highlights in water, because water may seem still, but it's always moving. And even in the shadow parts, it's still reflecting some light. So it's always good to give it a little bit more flavor there. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. And there you have it. We went from just a single little image, few lines on a paper. We made a gorgeous colored canvas. We made some, little oopsies here and there, but those oopsies eventually turned out to help the picture in the end, showing that there really are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. And thank you so much for joining me here today. And if you are going to make an image, just remember, the most important thing is how you feel. And if you feel a sense of joy and accomplishment, or even just a sense of relaxation, getting your mind off of these troubling times, then you're doing right. With that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.